guys, and welcome to a reading vlog. So I'm going to be participating in the Hello 2022 Readathon, which technically begins tomorrow. So it's from January 23rd to the 29th, but today, which is Saturday, is when I'm actually going to begin, because tomorrow I'm going to be super busy and I don't know how much time I'll have to read at all. So I figured I could counterbalance that a little bit, start today, since I won't really be able to do much tomorrow. So I have 4 books on my TBR, 2 of which I've actually started before and 2 in which are brand new to me. Even though I've had one for a very long time, I just never picked it up. So I don't know why I didn't, but you know, it is what it is. The first book that I'm going to show you corresponds with the prompt, a book that pushes you out of your comfort zone, and that is Maybe Someday by Colleen Hoover. So this pushes me out of my comfort zone in 2 ways. One is the fact that it's an ebook. It's something that I don't really gravitate towards that often, not because I don't like it, but I forget, which is terrible. I'm going to try to use my ebook, my Kindle, way more this year, especially because I got it for Christmas 2 years ago and I asked for it specifically. So although Colleen Hoover's books tend to be really popular, for whatever reason, the subject matter doesn't seem to really interest me. I heard that her stories are like really sad, and I don't typically go for stories that I know from the get-go will be sad. I don't know if this book in particular is going to be sad, but I know that regardless it's going to push me out of my comfort zone, since it's something that I don't typically read. Now this book is for the prompt, a book that is on your 2022 TBR. So I got this at the very end of last year and I just thought it was so cute seeming. It is called Donut Fall in Love by Jackie Lau, I think is how you pronounce the name. And this story, as far as I know, is basically about an actor or something like that who ends up being put in a baking competition, and so his love interest over here is a baker, and he asked for her help, so I guess he can win this competition. I don't know, but it just seems really cute. I love these kind of meet cute, lighthearted romances, so hopefully this is good. So the next 2 books are really big, and I do not expect to finish them at all during this next week, especially because just generally speaking, I'm a slow reader, even though over the next 7 days, or 8 I guess, I am going to be prioritizing reading over pretty much any other form of entertainment as of right now. But I do want to get a good chunk into these books just to kind of get the ball rolling. And anyways, without further ado, these are the next 2 books that are on the list. The book that I chose for the prompt, a book that you wanted to read in 2021 but didn't get to, is kind of like a loose one. Yeah, it's kind of loose as far as like fitting the prompt, but basically it is Voyager by Diana Gabaldon. And as you can see, I'm almost about halfway through already. So I did technically start this in 2021. I just didn't finish it in 2021, which was initially my goal, but that just did not work out, which is fine. So my hope is that I can get another 25% or so through this book. I also have the audiobook with it, so this is a book that I'll definitely be listening to while I'm like driving around and everything and running errands, so that I can still get a good chunk of the way through this book over the course of the next week. But I really do like this book so far. It is the 3rd in the Outlander series, and so far this is absolutely my favorite book. So I am very, very much enjoying the story and everything, but it's definitely one of those books that I can read in about like 25% chunks and take a rest and still be as excited to pick it up later, if that makes any sense. So anyways, yes, this is the next book that I hope to at least get a good ways through during this readathon. So the last book that I have on my TBR is for the prompt, a book with a new beginning, or that represents new beginnings or something like that, and it is A Count of Monte Cristo. So I wanted to read this book for so long. I started last year and I got, let's see, I got 52 pages in. Not because I didn't like the book, but I definitely wasn't in the reading mood back then, and I even tabbed it. So if you see here, my goal was to go through each of these tabs once a month, so I only had like a little bit to read at a time, so it wasn't super overwhelming. I got halfway through January, it looks like. So honestly, my hope for this book is to be able to read, like, finish the first tabby, so about another 50 pages, and then I would like to read maybe 2 tabs in. So if I could get to 362, so chapter 31, like, which is around here, about that much, I would be very happy if I could do all of this in a week. Like, that would just be insane to me, but in the best way possible. So for the first 2 books, I definitely want to finish those. One thing that I really love about ebooks, and I don't know if it's like an update on Kindle or whatever, but it tells you the average reading time for the books. So I know that maybe someday is roughly going to take me about 6.5 hours to read. And then with the Donut Fall in Love, those books, because it's contemporary romance, the language isn't super difficult to understand, so they tend to go by a little bit faster. So if I could get through those 2 books, I'll be really happy. So as far as reading order, I don't know what I'm going to do exactly, except for today I'm going to try to read 1 or 2 chapters from each book today and see which one I'm gravitating the most towards, and then dedicate my time to reading that most of the time. And then I might have like a book that I read specifically in the evening, but then another one that I read throughout the day, if that makes any sense. So without further ado, let's just finally jump into the rest of this vlog and see where this week takes us. So I finished the prologue for maybe someday, so basically like the first chapter. So we find out that Sydney, our main character, has a best friend and a boyfriend who have been seeing each other behind her back. Basically, she's been cheated on by both her best friend and her boyfriend, and she is stuck in the rain trying to figure out what her life is going to entail. So far so good as far as the taste test goes for this book, and I will move on to Donut Fall in Love in a few minutes. It's a little later now, and I ended up laying down for about 20 minutes or so. I didn't fall asleep or anything like that, but I just laid on the couch, and that seemed to help me a little bit. And then I ended up getting lunch. I got BurgerFi because I really wanted a burger. On my way to and from BurgerFi, I was listening to Voyager. So I actually got through about 2.5 chapters while listening to the audiobook. So I'm on page 400 now, and I really like it. Honestly, it's like perfect for a day like this. So depending on how I feel about the other 2 books and how much time I have before I have to go to work, we will see if I go back into reading Voyager. But I think that is the strong contender for today, specifically because it just works for the environment and the weather right now. Just hearing about the Scottish Highlands and the cold wetness of the current season, I'm like, that's literally today. Like, it's been cold and it's been rainy all day. So I even have to put the heat on in the house because our house stays really cold, which is great during Florida summer, but like when it gets cold, it keeps the cold. So anyways, I have my tea in the background here, so I've been drinking that. But next I'm going to move on to Donut Fall in Love. So we will see how this goes. I love the background here, like this little scene. Oh my gosh, I'll focus. This little scene here is just so cute. You see the boba tea, you see donuts, like, hello? He wants to see too. See? So I'm gonna read some of this now, and yeah, we'll see how this one goes. I finished the first chapter in Donut Fall in Love, and so far it feels like it's going to be a pretty easy read. So we start off by getting to but we're introduced to Ryan, and he is an actor apparently, and he wakes up finding out that his abs from his latest movie has gone viral. Like, there's a whole hashtag dedicated to his abs, and that's pretty much the only praises that he's getting right now for his most recent work of as an actor, which seems disconcerting. And then you also hear that there's something, I guess going amiss with this family. I don't know, something's going wrong. And it seems like he has a relatively turbulent relationship with his father. So we'll see how that goes. And then we get to meet, oh my gosh, what's her name already? I forgot. Hold on. Lindsay. So now we meet Lindsay, and she is a baker, and for right now it seems like her life is just changing, or rather a lot of things in her life around her are changing. So her best friend just got married and is on honeymoon. Another one of her old classmates from university, she's getting married. She moved into a new place, and her mom is started dating and she feels like she's being left behind. So we will see how the rest of this goes, but this is really cute so far. I like the writing style, which is helpful, and I kind of like already where this is like how this is being set up, but we'll see, because you know it is early days. It's only 8 pages in, so we'll see how the rest of this goes. So right now the contenders are Do Not Fall in Love, Donut Fall in Love, there we go, and Voyager. So I'm gonna take a little bit of a break because I don't know what it is. I'm just feeling so tired. Like I said, I think it's the weather. I sound like a broken record, oh my goodness. But I'm gonna take a short little break and then read some Count of Monte Cristo. I finished my 1 chapter, technically 1.5 chapters, for the Count of Monte Cristo, and honestly, I'm really impressed as to how much I remember. Granted, I only read about 50 pages, but the fact that about a year later I picked this up and I'm like, oh yeah, I know exactly where I am in the story, is very encouraging. Also, I forgot how easy it is to read this book. Like, it's mostly dialogue, it's not too frilly, it gives you like just enough information with each like chapter, with each like scene, and I really like that. So now I'm torn again because I did enjoy that reading experience. I read from about about page 50 to about page 75 or something like that, a little like further than that I think. Maybe I could be totally wrong. Hold on, let me check. 74. Okay, so it wasn't that bad. So about page 50 to about 74. And overall that went pretty quickly considering how I am feeling. Dang it. I don't want to say like, oh, I'm tired again, but like legit, that's how I feel. Like the bags under my eyes cannot be hidden. But yeah, I really enjoyed reading this one as well. So I'm like, dang, I could probably get through this relatively quickly too, just how it's written and everything. But I almost want to go counter to my feelings of there's 3 books that clearly I love that I think I'm really going to enjoy, and the only book that I'm not feeling that way about is Colleen Hoover's book, and it almost makes me want to read that one first and get it out of the way to an extent. I actually am not going to be going into work today like I thought, which is perfectly fine. Because I nanny and like, you know, things happen, like the family's doing other things today, so that is okay. So now I have a little while longer before I have to go out for dinner. I'm meeting some friends up for dinner, meeting up with some friends for dinner. You'd think after reading my English would be better. Not so much. So I almost want to read a little bit more of Maybe Someday and see how I feel about it. Because maybe just the prologue wasn't enough, because I'm like, meh. But the other ones I'm like, okay, I'm really liking these ones. Even Do Not Fall in Love, I'm liking a little bit more than Maybe Someday, even though technically I read about the same amount in each of the books and I started fresh for both of them. So I think that's what I want to do, because it is currently 3:50 almost, and I don't have to leave my house until like 6:50. So I have quite a bit of time. So I might just try to like not marathon, but like really dive deep into Colleen Hoover's book and see how I truly feel about it, and then I'll make my decision as to which ones I want to focus on for the rest of the week, or like the order in which I want to focus on them. So yeah, Today so far has been really successful, I would say. I've read quite a bit over the last few hours, and now I've had a taste of all of them, and yeah. Let's just continue going. It is day 2 and between a whole bunch of different activities that I was doing, one being a birthday brunch and catching up with a friend that I literally haven't seen in close to 3 years, which is crazy, and FaceTiming one of my best friends, I ended up reading 80, how much was it, 82, 83-ish? 86. I ended up reading 86 pages today of Maybe Someday, and I'm actually really liking it, specifically for like the writing style and almost like the college nostalgia kind of feeling that it gives me, and the music that is involved. So what's really cool about this book is that they have like a playlist and like, or an album that is made for the book, and the songs that they're referring to, like these made up songs, are actually real songs, or they have become actual songs that you can listen to. So that's been really fun for me, this kind of mix of mediums, and because I love music so much, I feel like that's why I'm connecting with this story, and it makes me want to really appreciate music more again and do more of the things that I love about music. Like I have played guitar in the past, not well, not great, but I have a guitar and I haven't played that in so long, and I genuinely love singing, and I haven't sung like regularly in so long, and that is like coming up a lot in this book, and that is what I'm really liking about it at the moment. So I'm actually liking this a lot more than my initial reactions to it. So I think today was a really good day. It's actually quarter till midnight right now. Between all of the activities that I've done, I literally just finished getting off a FaceTime with one of my best friends. We were on FaceTime for like 3 hours, and it was a really good day, between just genuinely connecting with people that I just care about so much, and then being able to read and actually have the experience of reading out and about in public, like in a cafe and everything, which I haven't done in ages, like so long, mostly because like I haven't been able to like focus in on a book in a really long time, especially in public. Usually I have to be like basically in silence. I can't hear people talking around me. I can't listen to music with lyrics, but for whatever reason it just worked, and I'm very, very grateful for it. So I would say official day 1, but day 2 for me for the Hello 2022 Readathon has been a success.
He'd lied to me, hadn't trusted me to recognize his responsibilities, to stand by him, or to leave him, as his circumstances demanded.
It is currently Tuesday, and we are still going strong with the readathon. The past few days I have been reading quite a bit, even more than I even thought I could. And it's amazing how this readathon has shown me that there are so many little pockets of time that I can read like a couple pages at a time, that I've been able to read quite a bit throughout the day. So I just want to update you on where I'm at currently. So the last couple of days I've been focusing on Maybe Someday, and I am roughly about 50% through. I'm about halfway through now, or a little over that. And I think according to my Kindle, let's see how long I actually have to finish the book. So we currently have 4 hours and 4 minutes left in this book. So I've been enjoying this quite a bit. I actually read for probably 2 hours or so last night after I got home, and by the time I got home it was like 9:30. So I read until about 11:30 because I made the mistake of having some tea during dinner, like iced tea and stuff, and that of course has caffeine, so that kept me up. So I went to bed late for the past like 2 or 3 nights, and today I've been so tired, so I haven't really physically read much of Maybe Someday. I say physically read like I have another option, but I haven't really read much of Maybe Someday. But between driving to and from work and doing some like tidying and some work for my virtual assistant business that I do, I have read quite a bit or listened to quite a bit of Voyager here, and I can show you where I am, but I'm currently at page 542, so that's chapter 42. And my goal for this readathon is to be able to get to chapter 51. And I'm almost like halfway there, halfway to where I want to be, and I'll show you in a second. Oh my gosh, and I'm sorry about that camera situation. I don't know if you can see this well, but the yellow tab is where I started, just before like the readathon, like that's where I started from. This receipt here, aka my bookmark for right now, is where I'm up to currently, and then where this receipt is, that is where I want to finish by the end of the readathon, and I definitely feel like I can do that, considering today I think has been the most I've read in this book, and I've been loving it because it is definitely working out with the weather, so it's like perfect for the current I don't know, vibe that we have going on. Because it's so cold and rainy and overcast and misty the past few days, this literally has been perfect because right now in this book it's wintertime. So it just worked out so well, so I've definitely been loving it. But I do still want to get a good chunk through maybe someday, and I think I'm going to read this for the rest of the night since I'm at a good stopping point, being at the beginning of a chapter, and I think reading physically will help me a lot to like fall asleep faster tonight, because honestly my goal is to fall asleep by like 8 o'clock. Yeah, and it's 6:15, 6:20 almost. It's almost 6:20 now. So I basically want to go to bed in like an hour and a half, and if I wake up early, that's great. That's just more time for me to read or do something else, but like I don't know if you can tell, I'm just so exhausted. But I'm having the best time, genuinely. I'm having the best time during this readathon. If I can get through this book either today, between today and tomorrow morning, because I don't know if I'll be up for 4 hours, let's just be honest. I think, I don't know. I'm just like really excited to be able to move on from this book to go to the next one, Donut Fall in Love. I don't even know where I put that. Oh, it's over there. And if I could finish these 2 books and then get to where I want to be in my 2 like bigger books, I'll be really happy. It is a Wednesday night, and I figured I would update you guys. And sorry this vlog hasn't been all that interesting. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out what the lighting was. Just because I've been working a lot, but I've been definitely finding time to read. So I actually got to where, sorry, I'm moving around way too much. I got to a point where you know, it's in the evening. I can tell you where I'm at with the books that I've been reading, so I should be able to finish maybe someday tonight. I ended up reading like for 2 hours last night. How the heck that happened, I don't know. But I was able to stick around for 2 hours and read that. And today I've been listening to Voyager quite a bit because I've been driving a lot today between like my jobs and everything, and I actually got to the point where I wanted to get to for this readathon. I'm currently on page chapter 52, so that is page 658. So I'm very, very happy with my progress on this book, and now technically I can free up time to read the other books, although I think I'm definitely going to continue reading this one, or listening to this one rather, on audiobook for the rest of the week, because why not? I ended up finishing Maybe Someday last night, and I really, really enjoyed it. I loved the aspect of music that was involved in it, and I was listening to the songs like as they came up in the book, so that was really fun. I loved the emphasis on the importance of communication, and also how complicated like the realm of cheating is. And it's not saying that the book is not like leaning towards the side of like, oh, cheating's okay by any means, but it just sheds light on how complicated that kind of situation can get, or where it can stem from and stuff like that. So I really liked the book. It was a lot more engaging than I thought it was going to be, and there were some other elements that I really loved, but they're spoilers, so I can't really like talk about that because I don't want to spoil anybody. But I really did enjoy the book, and I also got to the point where I was my goal point for Voyager, so I'm really happy about that. So 2 successes yesterday for the readathon, and just before I went to bed I actually started properly Do Not Fall in Love. And then today I went to a cafe and I just sat there and read for like 2 hours, well, a little less than 2 hours actually, maybe like an hour and a half. And I am currently on chapter 12, and I read quite a bit, which I'm really proud of myself for, and I was really enjoying it. The only reason why I left was because it was kind of getting dark, and I was like, you know what, let me just start heading home. I have other things that I need to do, like laundry and stuff, before I go to bed, so I wanted to make sure I got a good start on that. And I just really loved it. And then today also too, this morning, I downloaded the audiobook for Count of Monte Cristo, and I listened to a little portion of it this morning just to make sure it was actually matching with my copy that I have, and it does. So that makes me really happy, because I will definitely be going back and forth between reading this monster that is actually so easy to understand, and it's really, really fun and fast-paced as well. And I didn't realize like so many of the parts, I'm like, oh my gosh, like it happens this early in the story. Like I feel like I remember it being way deeper in the book. But then again, when I read this book, I was in high school and I hated reading. So yeah, and audiobooks were via like, I mean, I'm sure they had digital versions too back then, but it was like harder to come by. So I borrowed the CD from the library, and it was just going so slow. But I remember thinking, this book is really interesting, I just don't want to read this for school. And now, quite a bit of years later, I'm finally getting to read this. But between both of these books today, I've had such a fun reading day, and I'm actually going to continue reading this tonight before I go to bed, because I've made it a habit of mine, just like brushing my teeth in the evening, to read even if it's just a little bit just before I go to bed. But I'm going to take a break from that, and a break from doing other things in my day-to-day life, to have a little bit of dinner, a light dinner, and then go back upstairs and just wind down for the day. But yeah, today has been such a good reading day. Like I am so happy right now, it's not even funny. And what's actually kind of hilarious though is recently I've just been really loving the color blue more than normal. Blue is my favorite color, but like I still have like, you know, seasonal favorites, but I've been loving blue recently, and I just realized that both of these books, their covers are blue. So I feel like both of these books are so beautiful in their own right. I love the color combinations of the almost like sky blue and the like bubblegum pink, and then I love this more dark, adventurous, like almost, I don't know if regal's the right word that I'm looking for, but I really like this kind of thing too. But what's crazy is the more I read this book and the more I listen to the audiobook, the more I realize, wow, this is such an easy read. I don't know why I was putting this off, because for today, and I'm not even listening to it fast, I am already past the first little tick mark that I wanted to go to, and I'm not very far from the next one. So yeah, I'm just really, really loving this so much, like the combination, and they're such stark contrasts, but I just love what I've been reading today. Hey guys, it is Sunday the 30th, and we've officially reached the end of the readathon, and I had so much fun. So today actually ended up being like a bonus day. So I've been following some of the creators on Instagram, or not the creators, but like the hosts of this readathon on Instagram throughout the week, and it looked like today was an additional bonus day that the creator of this readathon, I guess, allowed, if that makes any sense. So for me, because I gave myself an extra day, like a head start, because I just know my schedule wouldn't allow for me to read the way I wanted to, I ended up reading a total of 9 days. So for me, that was really awesome to be able to really dedicate some time and like mental capacity and just enthusiasm towards reading during that time. And like I said before, as you guys already knew, I was reading Maybe Someday, which is on my Kindle. Then I moved on to, or not moved on, but I kind of overlapped with Voyager, and I actually ended up going a little bit further than I initially wanted to. So that was really good. So I went past about the 75% mark, I think, roughly. And then I moved to Donut Fall in Love, and I got to page 196. So chapter 22. So I read 22 chapters in that. And then I also this morning got just past where I wanted to be in Account of Monte Cristo, which I think was past like the first 2 tabs, or like do the first 2 tabs, if I'm not mistaken. But if not, that's kind of like after a couple days, that's where I wanted to be. So I would say I had a really good readathon. So I was able to finish a book in its entirety, get a good chunk through 2 really big books, and get mostly through another shorter contemporary, or like average size contemporary. And I'm just so happy. So I'll give you some of the stats, I guess, because I thought this was kind of fun. So I did mark off, or like make a note of where I started in each book, and especially if I started them already, and where I ended, so I can kind of know how many pages I read over the like last 9 days. So for the Count of Monte Cristo, I read 207 pages, thankfully with the help of an audiobook as well. Voyager, the same thing as far as using both the book and audiobook. I read a solid 300 pages, which was kind of fun. For Maybe Someday, that book, at least my Kindle version, was 368 pages. And for Do Not Fall in Love, I got to 196, like I said earlier. So over the last 9 days, I read a total of 1,071 pages, which is crazy to me. Like, I did not know that I had that kind of capacity, so that's amazing. And then that was an equivalent of an even 119 pages every day. For me, that is so crazy, because I always thought that like my personal max was like 50 if I was lucky for reading every day. And the fact that this week, or the past 9 days, has shown me that I can actually do more and genuinely enjoy it. Like, I didn't think about like, oh, I have to read a certain amount of pages every day. All I knew was like, I just get to read. So I just set aside time to read every single day, whether that be like just before I fall asleep, or like in between other like random times of life. So that to me is so amazing, and I'm so grateful for this readathon and the fact that I participated. And in my personal opinion, I feel like it was such a success for me. So I hope this vlog was semi-entertaining. This is the first time I've vlogged in a really long time, the first time I've ever vlogged like a reading experience. And if you would like to know more about these books individually, let me know. But I can give you like a quick rundown before we officially end this video. So Maybe Someday, I did really like it. Gave it 4 out of 5. It was like, I wouldn't say cute contemporary, but it was like a really nice college age contemporary book. And then for Voyager, I have loved this book pretty much from the get-go, and honestly, I just don't get bored of it so far. This is definitely my favorite book in the series that I've read, like as far as like the ones that I've read. So this is the 3rd book in the series, and this is my favorite. And then Do Not Fall in Love, it is really cute. There are moments where I catch myself smiling, but at the same time there are moments that I catch myself like rolling my eyes, and I'm like, really? Like, why are we talking about this? Or why are the characters like thinking of this, that kind of thing. So it's kind of like a mixed bag right now. We'll see at the very end how I feel. But it's not terrible, but I don't know if it's in the end going to be my cup of tea. I have a feeling it's going to be like a 3 out of 5 for me. But I will know once I officially end the book. And then with the Count of Monte Cristo, oh my gosh, I think this is the most surprising one, because it is so much easier to read and so easy to understand, considering how big this is and how it is a classic novel. But it's so easy and it's so much fun. Like, it's so much fun that when I was listening to it today while I was like cleaning and things like that. I was just like taking my time because I was just genuinely enjoying the experience. So I would say in the order of enjoyment so far, as far as it being a surprise, the Count of Monte Cristo, then it's Voyager, then Maybe Someday, and then Do Not Fall in Love. So yes, we've come to the end now, and thank you for sticking with me over the course of this video and over the course of the readathon and everything. And I definitely cannot wait to get back in to another like exciting time of reading and share it with you guys as I go along. So I will talk to you guys later in the next video, and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye!